he rises from the pit. In the days of the patriarchs, in a foreign land called Egypt, a young Hebrew slave faces betrayal and an impossible future. Watch how Providence turns one man's suffering into the salvation of many. This is the real story. Joseph is a man of prayer and restraint, taken from his family and sold into slavery. He carries quiet dignity and a gift for interpreting dreams. In Egypt, he will learn that faith and wisdom can survive chains and false accusations. Pharaoh is Egypt's powerful king, troubled by strange dreams that unsettle his court. He holds absolute power yet finds himself helpless before a mystery that could topple the nation's future. He needs wisdom he does not possess. After arriving in Egypt, Joseph is bought by Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh. As the text says, the Lord is with him, and Joseph proves faithful. He manages the house, and everything prospers under his hand, because his integrity wins trust in a foreign household. But before long, temptation comes. Potiphar's wife tries to seduce Joseph. He refuses, honoring his duty and his God. In that moment, her anger turns to revenge. She frames him with lies, and Joseph is dragged from favor to prison despite his innocence. In prison, Joseph does not abandon faith. He gains favor even behind bars because the Lord is with him. He is put in charge of other prisoners, and the jailer trusts him. The narrative explains that character and God's presence carry him through suffering. Days pass, and two of Pharaoh's servants are thrown into the same prison, the cupbearer and the baker. Each dreams, and Joseph notices their distress. He offers to interpret, but first asks them to remember him when they are restored. This request will matter later. As the story continues, Joseph interprets the cupbearer's dream as restoration in 3 days, and the baker's dream as execution in 3 days. He explains signs and symbolism plainly. The cupbearer is restored, but the baker is executed, probing Joseph's gift and establishing his credibility even in chains. But when the cupbearer returns to Pharaoh's service, he forgets Joseph. Days become weeks, and Joseph remains unseen. The narrative does not hide this injustice. It explains how forgotten kindness and broken promises extend the suffering of the righteous. Years pass, and then Pharaoh himself is tormented by 2 linked dreams. 7 healthy cows swallowed by 7 gaunt cows, and 7 full sheaves swallowed by 7 thin sheaves. He wakes trembling because no one in his court can explain such a double vision that seems to threaten Egypt's future. In desperation, Pharaoh summons his magicians and wise men. They cannot agree on the meaning. The court's failure shows the limits of human knowledge. Pharaoh's anxiety grows because the nation depends on the interpretation of signs he cannot understand. Then the cupbearer remembers Joseph. He tells Pharaoh about the prisoner who interpreted dreams. Pharaoh orders Joseph fetched from the dungeon. This turn of memory is providential. A forgotten act of mercy returns to change an empire's fate. When Joseph stands before Pharaoh, the king perceives a composed man. Pharaoh explains his dreams and demands interpretation. Joseph does not boast. He first acknowledges that the interpretation belongs to God, and then explains plainly what the 2 linked dreams mean. Joseph interprets the dreams. 7 years of abundance will be followed by 7 years of severe famine. The 2 dreams mean the same thing, and their doubling proves certainty. He warns Pharaoh that preparation must begin at once if Egypt is to survive the lean years. When Pharaoh asks for a wise man, Joseph proposes a plan. Appoint a capable official to collect a fifth of the produce in the good years for storage. He explains administrative measures and oversight. The proposal shows practical wisdom paired with prophetic insight. In that very moment, Pharaoh elevates Joseph, giving him authority over all the land of Egypt. Joseph receives Pharaoh's signet, a chariot, and the best garments. The narrative emphasizes that a foreign slave now becomes the second most powerful man in Egypt by providence and competence. As the years of plenty begin, Joseph supervises the collection and storage. He organizes the administration, sets aside grain, and stores produce in the cities. The people learn to trust the plan, and the nation builds a reserve that will become crucial when famine comes. When the lean years come, crops fail and neighboring lands suffer. People from all nations come to Egypt for grain. Joseph opens the storehouses and sells provisions, saving many lives. The story explains how foresight and faithful stewardship turn a crisis into a means of mercy. As the narrative concludes this section, providence appears as a reversal. Joseph's suffering leads to wisdom that saves many, including those who once wronged him. The text invites the reader to see divine purpose woven through betrayal, patience, and administrative skill. The lesson of these chapters is clear. Providence can use suffering and human wisdom together to preserve life. Joseph's rise shows that God can place the right person in the right time to save many. If this story moved you, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell so you do not miss the next one.